All right, peace, family. We should be live right now. We should be live. I know. I see a lot of y'all excited about this show. I didn't know y'all was gonna be this excited about this show, and it's good to see y'all excited about this. This is a part of a lot of our childhoods. Kung Fu in particular, the Kung Fu flicks that was out. Something that resonates with our people a lot. So I had to bring. I think there's nobody better to talk about this subject than my brother here, Wayne Chandler. Wayne Chandler, welcome back to the show, my brother.
It's good to be back, man. It's good to be back. It's good to see you. Know that you're doing well.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. You just came from Mexico, right?
Just got in.
Okay. What you had the
Still got
qigong?
tortillas in my pocket.
Oh man, it's nice out there. You said, huh?
It's nice, man. The retreat itself was magical.
Mm,
Truly. People got a lot from it. Had several, sisters from your program who
mhm.
jumped in, and they were really, really proficient at the practices and just absorbing the energy, which was impressive to me
Mm.
in the way they absorbed the energy and utilized it. It was deep.
Excellent, excellent. Shout out to everybody from the channel who participated in me and Wayne's workshop earlier this year, the Qigong workshop. It was truly an amazing workshop and yeah, life changing for a lot of people. So I'm glad a lot of people benefited from it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get to a couple of commercials and we're gonna be right back. And we're gonna start this thing here, family. It's gonna be a great show. Make sure you share the video. Make sure you hit the like button and get comfortable, family. It's gonna be a great show. We will be right back, family.
Hey there! Had a bad dream? I have dreams too. Some parts are scary and some parts are fun. Always remind yourself, it's only a dream and everything will be okay. I had a dream about being in a forest too. Check it out, my pet Petey was with me. Order your copy of Kayla Petey and the Forest on Amazon today.
Brooklyn, New York, are you ready? August 27th, King Simon will be there. Troy Hairston will be there. Alison Nedra will be there. Lloyd Strayhorn will be there with special guests. Sister California Ife will be there. All happening at Nicholas Brooklyn Mini Workshop. Text now, call now to be there. Hey, this is King Simon, the International Numero Beta. Remember, get all my books on Amazon or go to Linktree/King Simon, the Numero Beta. And remember, don't forget to book my sessions at 347-496-1022. Book now.
All right, all right. Oh, we got King Simon backstage. Well, I got a co-host tonight, y'all. King Simon is my fellow co-host.
My brother Wayne, how you doing?
Man.
Us. Wayne, a pleasure, my brother.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine. That's a door that swings both ways, man.
That's right.
Wayne, I had to get King Simon on here. All he does is talk about martial arts all the time. He talks about it all the time, man.
I haven't seen Wayne since LIU days.
Oh man, yeah, that's stepping back, man. That's stepping back.
So big up to brother Shabazz for bringing him in back in those days, and we was doing those Tai Chi moves and breathing exercises. Oh man, love you, man, love you. That's why I had to connect y'all before. You're Rich, man. I'm so happy you got on Rich show, man. So happy for you, man.
Indeed. So listen. Oh man, martial arts, it resonates with so many of us. So many of us, we don't know why. It's just in something inside of us that really, really appreciate the art. In particular, and I guess in the 70s, I'm an 80s baby, but in the 70s, I believe Kung Fu movies started coming to the US.
Okay.
And in the 80s, it was big as well. Everybody had a pair of nunchucks in their house as a child. And
I still have them.
and out of nowhere, it kind of disappeared. Mm-hmm. And I guess people gravitate these days toward anime. I guess that would be the current form of that is being entertained in. But I know a lot of us know about our origins, and a lot of us don't know about our history in terms of martial arts and being Black. There's a reason why it resonates with us. It's in our DNA. So Wayne Chandler, I know you know a lot about the history. What can you tell us about how influential we are to the system in itself? What did we start it? Did it start in Africa? Is it on the temple's walls in Egypt? Talking about the African origin of martial arts, my brother.
Yeah, can I share my screen?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I hope it works. Sometime it be acting. It's gonna work.
Beautiful book as usual, sir.
Yes. Amazing book. Must have.
Yes.
So are you able to see what's happening on the screen?
No,
Let me reduce this and start again.
no, something when you share it, I'm supposed to get a message that says allow share. And
Okay.
then I'm supposed to allow it, but I didn't even get the message. So
Okay, let me see. Here we go. You get a message that can't come up yet?
no. Did you click the share button at the bottom?
Yeah.
And then after that, what does it say?
Right now, I have a miniature window. Let's see here. Window, entire screen, and there's a share. Let me see.
Jocelyn, you funny. Jocelyn getting on me about my smoke alarm battery. Yes, I will change it. I just pardon that, family. I just noticed it yesterday.
Mine's too, brother Rich. Don't worry.
All right, yeah, I do gotta change it. I got you, Jocelyn. You trying to be funny and shit.
Exactly. Chirp.
All right, give Wayne a second, family, while he gets that together. I'm trying to think. Is there anything? Because I'm never on the other end. I'm usually just hosting. King Simon, is there what happens after he hits the share button?
You're supposed to notify you, and then it's supposed to appear on your backstage, and then you throw it up on StreamYard. That's what's supposed to happen. Right. Let me see if I can share screen, see what it looks like if it works for me.
Yeah. Let me see.
Okay. So you're just gonna. Can you see mine from the backstage? It came up, right?
Yeah. See.
All right. See.
All right, yeah.
That's what's supposed to happen. So you could take mine down. I'll stop sharing.
So what steps did you
Okay.
click
So, yeah.
Yes, brother. You ready?
Yeah. Tell me your steps, because down at the bottom it says share. So I hit share.
Hit share. Then you go to share screen. There's a bottom link that says share. Go to share screen. Then it says hit the blue screen that says share screen again on the bottom.
Right.
And then go to your, I think either your Windows or your Chrome tab. I think you have a tab. You have three. You have entire screen, window, and then you have Chrome tab. Then go to your Chrome tab and what you want to share. Find out what you want to share over there. Should come up. Or window, whichever your
right. Okay.
Your
so I hit Chrome.
And what happened?
And there's a small box that says select a tab to preview.
Yes. Now, what is it that you have up? What's your content? What's the name of your content?
It's a PowerPoint, so it's slides.
So it should say slide right there in that little box, and then you should be able to press that, and it should come up. Like I can do it right now, just like I just did. Rich could see me in the backstage right now, but that's you have to do the same thing. I'm gonna stop sharing so you could. How are you doing?
I see the Chrome tab. I don't see anything that designates slides.
You see the crow time? Then go to your windows. You see the
Yeah,
windows?
let me go to Windows and see
Mm-hmm.
what
See if you can share
happens
that
here.
first.
Yeah, somebody asked me, do I know what happened to City Hampton? No, I haven't talked to the brother in a while. Hope the brother's all right.
Oh, wow.
I haven't talked to the brother in some years now. Probably about 5 years. So I'm not sure about the brother. But shout out to City Hampton. Yeah, just be patient with us, real quick, family. Wayne Chandler, he's from the old school. He don't deal with all this stuff.
No.
What do you have up on the screen now?
Do you see anything in the backstage, Rich?
No, there's nothing. I don't see anything.
Okay.
You went to Windows, sir?
Yeah.
And click on, and did it say share that or no?
No, yeah, it says share, but what's coming up is something off of YouTube, and it's I don't know how to get rid of that.
You might have a lot of windows in your background open. Do you have a lot of windows open in the background?
See. Yeah, let me see if I can.
Wayne, are you able to email me the PDF?
Yeah.
That's
probably better.
And I could pull it up on my computer if you're able to email it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah, somebody said, do you have the PowerPoint up? Like you have to open it before you try to share it. Open it on your computer and then try to share it.
Okay. I mean, it's open on the computer.
Oh, it's open. Okay.
But even when it's opened on the computer, let me see. There's nowhere to share.
Oh.
There's some kind of swimming thing on here that's coming off of YouTube. Maybe that was a window I had open. Chrome. The only thing it's letting, let me see. Let me go here. Go here. Share.
Right, I see something now, Wayne. This is what it's showing me now.
Okay.
Okay, so you're seeing out the whole screen. That's what you see.
Yeah, you're sharing the whole screen.
Right.
You have to share just that window.
That PDF.
That PDF.
Okay. So what do you see now? Do you see you see the whole screen?
Can you see it on your computer? Can you see what you're sharing?
Yeah, I can see what I'm sharing.
Right.
Okay. So this is what you're sharing right here.
That's what you're sharing.
Five star, you gonna go now?
What happened?
None.
Oh, disrespectful.
Be patient, y'all. Yeah, be patient. Y'all start talking shit, y'all getting kicked out.
So I don't know how to reduce this from. I mean, you don't see any. You don't see the images that I'm sharing right now.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Well, damn.
Let's just roll with it and email it to me, and I'll find a way to put it up while we just kicking it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, my PowerPoint isn't really in email. It's like in a separate file. So let me just it's a shame that people aren't going to be able to see the images, but
Oh, I know.
the latest information that came out, and this was back in the 90s, the early 90s. It says it was an article
Mm-hmm.
um, in an archaeological journal. It says Chinese roots lie in Africa, research says.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes on to say most of the population of modern China, 1/5 of all the people living today, owes its genetic origins to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
An international scientific team said today in research that undercuts any claim that modern humans may have originated independently in China. In the search for human origins, in which political beliefs and pride of place can figure as prominently as fossil evidence, the genetic findings dramatically illustrate the intricate weave of prehistoric migrations and human evolution from Africa into China. So that was the latest information that hit that pretty much solidified the origin of the Chinese populations, people, culture, and really freaked a lot of people out. When you get into doing a lot of the research, like one of the top historians coming out of China was a man by the name of Chi Tzu. Now, he wrote a book called The Chinese Art of Tai Chi Chuan. And in Tai Chi Chuan, he states that Taoism and Chinese culture
Mm-hmm.
were introduced into China between 10,000 and 5,000 BCE. He refers to those that ushered in this new age and instructed the Tao and called them the sons and daughters of reflected light, a sect of people the Chinese chronicles claim were over 7 feet in height and wore a type of clothing that had never been seen in China before.
Mm.
Chi Tzu continues, saying that where they came from, it is still a mystery. These sons and daughters of reflected light were responsible for introducing silk weaving, glass blowing, pottery making, metallurgy, martial arts, and the manufacturing of what would eventually become gunpowder. So when you look at these origins, it's easy to see that Black people began and laid the seeds for Chinese culture to evolve and turn in to what Chinese culture is today and how we identify that. Um, there's a place in Kemet called that we went to, and it's way off the beaten path.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, on our journey there, we had 2 full vans of military escorts to take us into this part of Kemet. And we went up into these ruins, these caves
Mm-hmm.
called Beni Hassan. And in these caverns were these like paintings
Mm-hmm.
on the walls of brothers doing martial arts,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
stick fighting, open hand. I mean, it was an amazing thing to behold.
And this was in China.
No, no, no. This was in Kemet. This
Oh,
was in
oh, Kemet,
Egypt.
Kemet, Kemet. Okay, okay,
It
okay.
was
Sorry.
in Egypt.
Uh-huh.
So you can literally trace the origin of the martial arts out of Kemet into Western Asia and from Western Asia into China. So in Kemet, the science of the martial arts was called Kuta. And Kuta literally meant the defender of kings. And all of those who were politically, consecrated, the kings, those who were of royal standing, they all had these bodyguards that were seasoned and proficient in Kuta.
Mm-hmm.
So over a series of time, you had all of these invasions, and those who were the creators of this system took it into Western Asia, where it was, introduced to the Black Akkadian races. And the Black Akkadian races really were the ones that refined it in Western Asia and would then take it over into China, where the first two dynasties of China, the Zi and the Shang dynasty, which were Black African inspired dynasties, would lay the foundation for culture for all of China.
Mm. Have you ever visited China and seen any pictures or any monuments or anything that shows our presence over there?
That's what I wanted to show everybody on the slides.
Yo, you can't Wayne, you can't email it to me or
I don't know how to email the PowerPoint to you. If you give me a step by step, I'll do it. I'm not I'm not technically inclined.
right. What do you got? You got a Mac or a Windows computer?
Now this is Windows.
It's Windows. Okay. He just got to add an attachment, right, King?
Yeah, he would just have to add it as an attachment and then send it to you. Can you
Okay.
can you do that?
I don't know. Let me see. So I pop it up.
Yeah, you go to your email. You know the name of your file?
Somebody said left click the file. Does that work if he left clicks it?
Well, he'd have to go to his email. If you're going to attach it, he'd have to go to the attachment
Okay, yeah,
icon on the
that'll
bottom,
probably
and
be that'll
then,
probably be easier.
then pull it up and then send it to your email to get it up there.
Okay, let me see.
I see you're sharing some. Now, Wayne, you see what you're sharing on the screen? Your email.
No, I just know that my email page is up.
That came up.
So but you still can't see this.
Yeah, I don't understand why I can see your email page, but I can't.
But you can't see that's wild. You can't see the PowerPoint.
All right, go to compose. Click on compose. On the left, click on compose.
Uh-huh.
Now, all the way at the bottom is a paper clip. Do you see the paper clip?
Right, yeah.
Click on that. The paper, no, to the right there, yeah. That's attached file.
Got it. Okay. Let me see. What I have to do is I've got to get to, let me go here. And let me go. Let me go here. Okay. Now, attaching file.
Right. It's coming up. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, they saying this big is gonna be sent as you gotta wait for it to
It's a big file. Yeah, he might have to do Dropbox.
no, just it'll go through. It
It'll
just
go
has
through.
it has to load. It has to load. They're gonna send it as a Google Drive link.
Okay, yeah, that's what it. Yeah.
But in the meantime, while that happens, I was watching something from Ashwa Kwesi. He was in Kemet, and he said he was showing some glyphs on the temples, and he was talking about the Mantu art form, and that being an African defense. And this was on the Kemetic walls. Have you ever heard of the Mantu art form, Wayne or King Sir?
I don't know of the Mantu. I mean, I'd like to see. I could, by looking at the images that he had,
Yeah.
I could determine exactly what style, they were performing, whether it was Mantu, whether it was Kuta. Kuta is the oldest of the forms that I know of. Mantu, I've never heard of Mantu.
Yeah, brother Mfundisha has spoken about it also. Yeah, Mantu, the Mantu. Yeah, so it's different. It's different styles and different, but it is on the walls of them attacking. You see the figures on there on a few different temples. Mfundisha Jehutimas has spoken on that. Before.
Okay.
Yeah, so but can I ask a question, Brother Rich?
Yes, sir.
To the brother, while we looking at this file, we back in the day, I think we had either on your show and on Blog Talk, Rich, or brother or Red Pill and Blue Pill show, there was we had Master Ronald Duncan, old Sensei Ronald Duncan, may he rest in peace, and he spoke about the racism in martial arts back in the day. Now, what is your perception about that? Because a lot of them didn't want to give us our due, and a lot of fights and tournaments was rigged against a lot of these brothers and sisters out there.
Oh yeah,
talk about that, please.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt, even in terms of the transmission of information, because the Chinese themselves were very, very secretive about what it was that they would allow out of the family traditions, because the family tradition was sacred to them. And so when you got into, even if you were the most skilled practitioner in their class.
All right, Wayne, I'm sorry, Wayne, you can send the file now. I'm sorry. I just wanted to let you know you can send it now.
Send it to his email. Yeah, to his email.
You didn't
No, don't go straight. Don't try to send it now. You didn't put his email in.
Wait, you ain't put my email in, Wade.
You're sending it to error.
No. Okay. Yeah.
You're sending it to error.
Yeah. Rich and Merritt. Oh, right there.
There it is.
All right. We helping our elder.
There it is.
And sending. All right.
Allow. Tell them put allow. Anyone. Tell them put allow. Press yes. Allow. And then go.
Now press send.
Then send. Yes, sir. There you go. Should be coming to you right now.
All right.
And
yeah, okay. So let me get rid of this. So yeah, good. Yo, I'm sorry, you was talking, Wayne?
About the racism in martial arts and how, because even with Bruce Lee and all of that, it was kind of crazy back in those days.
Yeah, well, it was crazy,
Yes, sir.
But again, it's it's their psychological and cultural patterning that made them really, they felt, protect the information that was handed down from generation to generation. And so we just came up on the short end of the stick, but there were a few brothers, who got the information. Mfundishi Talona, who was one of the forebears, of the Kupigana and Gumi system. He was one of those brothers who was given profound information and
Yeah.
was able to apply that and become, one of the top martial artists in the country, if not in the world, because, he competed internationally and was recognized in China as a very proficient internalist.
Yeah.
He started off in the northern systems of kung fu, but he went into after doing so much training, he suffered some serious injuries in all the training that he did, and his teacher, I believe his teacher was Master Ho, and got him involved in the internal arts, Tai Chi, Xingyi, and Bagua.
Bagua, yes.
And so he got profound notoriety when he competed, in China in those internal styles. He was very well respected as an internal practitioner.
Right. Oh, your PowerPoint is up, sir. You ready for your PowerPoint?
Yeah, hold up, y'all. I'm trying to figure out how to make this. Let me see something.
And there's also an incident when Bruce Lee, Master Lee, I'll give him that respect, Bruce Lee, because a lot of us grew up on Bruce Lee back in those days, and Jim Kelly. But there was a time when there was at a demonstration, and he was with Master Vic Moore, and he threw certain punches about 4 to 6 times, and Master Vic Moore blocked all of them, but they only counted for the one when he got through, and they didn't want to acknowledge that Vic Moore did block numerous of the punches before he got through, and they only took that filming that he got through, and that was it.
Right.
A black brother, Vic Moore, Master Vic. He's still alive. May he continue to do his work wherever he's at right now. So, it's just a lot of racism, like Master Duncan was saying, and contention, and a lot of people like Steve Muhammad, the great Steve Saunders, Steve Muhammad, Sid Joe Steve, and all of them. I came under Dr. Moses Powell, Anthony Muhammad, Sophie Little John.
Yeah, so that's legendary.
Those are the legends. Yeah. So those are my family members in that, and they told us a lot. They spoke about it. Sophie Little John spoke about a lot of disqualification. Hey, because Dr. Moses told him, look, we're not into competition. We're into streetology, baby. We got to get home. We're trying to make it home. We're not trying to do all of this. That's cute. I wasn't into that. As I learned from my elders, he wasn't into all of that competition, man, because we had to defend ourselves in the street, in the 70s and
no question.
60s, they had to go in, and he was teaching the Nation of Islam back in those days. So
no question,
a lot of that stuff was going. So this is your PowerPoint, sir?
Yeah,
it is.
I'm trying to. I don't know why I'm starting with this one.
Yeah, see if you can take it up. I don't think this one is the first one.
No, it's not. It's not. I don't know. Give me a second.
Eye to eye. Somebody said eye to eye. Yes, eye to eye, heart to heart.
So Wayne, do you think it was a conspiracy? Did the government? You think the government took out Bruce Lee?
Ooh. Oh man. Anything is possible. What this one practitioner or master in the art said that, the information he had gotten from somebody on the inside is that all the capillaries in Bruce Lee's body had exploded, which meant that he had been hit with an internal palm. And, the government may have been behind that. I mean, they're behind pretty much everything that happens where there's something that can shift consciousness.
Right.
And the direction, of cultural intent.
That's right.
So, it's always a possibility.
Yeah, very much possible.
But the only thing that I know, that I can say, and this master who spoke on it,
Mhm.
was pretty well renowned, in the circles of the Chinese arts, and that's what he said. He said that when they examined the body, that all the capillaries in his body literally had exploded,
Mm.
and he said that that was the work of an internal
Mm.
palm strike. So you're talking about maybe Xing Yi, or you're talking Bagua, you know,
Denmark.
yeah,
Denmark.
Mm.
or it could
Denmark.
be Denmark.
Denmark
Yep.
touch. Yeah.
Could very well be Denmark. Yep.
Mhm. Yep. Hmm. I have a book on Denmark, which is I don't even want to explore it that well because I know you don't you want to learn that stuff. It's like, oh man, you want touching somebody just
Denmark is
it's
deep,
yeah, it's a
you
deep thing.
know.
So you don't even want to whew.
But
I'm,
I
All
mean,
right.
Tai Chi really has Denmark
yes.
aspects to it,
Mm.
Mhm.
I
Mm.
mean, death point striking,
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
point
that's
strike.
one of the first, when most people study Tai Chi for just the health benefits of
Yes.
movement. But when you get into the martial aspects of Tai Chi,
Hmm.
it's a whole nother song and dance.
Mm.
And you have to learn like all the different meridian systems, as well as the points that you use for striking, that
Yes.
creates total dysfunction in the human
Dysfunction.
body once they're hit.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Wow.
All right. So Wayne, you see your presentation on the screen?
Yeah, I see it. Can the viewers see it? Can
Yeah, they
you?
see. We ready to roll now. We ready to roll now, brother. So
Okay.
let's start with your You can start. When you need me to go to the next slide, just let me know and I hit the button.
Yeah, go to the next slide. And this is the piece that I read dealing with Chinese roots
Hmm.
lie in Africa, research says. So this is the beginning. So
Hmm.
let's move from here to the next one.
Hmm.
Now, this is a really interesting piece. This is Inner Mongolia.
Hmm.
And if you look at the brother holding the staff, you look at the complexion of his skin, and you look at the complexion of the skin of the little young brother who's standing right next to him. You look at how dark he is. So you're looking at the transmission of a melanin dominant genetic imprint that moved from Africa into China into Mongolia. And this is what you're looking at here.
Mm. That's
I
powerful.
mean, he's so dark you can barely even see his features on the slide.
Exactly.
Next slide. Now, this is a really interesting piece. This is out of the actually it's in the Asian artifact section of the San Francisco Museum. And if you look up this is Kublai Khan, who was the grandson of Genghis Khan. And this is when, in the 12th century, when the Mongolian hordes were overrunning all of Asia. Now, if you look up in the far right, you see a brother on a horse who's dressed in red. Can you see the color of his face?
Black.
Right. And if you drop down and you look at the brother in the center of the page on the horse, you can look at the color of his face. And what is that?
Yeah, black.
So these are black Mongols, black Mongolians
Mm.
that literally rode with Kublai Khan, because within the family of the Mongolian hordes were several different families that were black, of African descent. If you go to the next slide, now you can see it a little bit better. The brother in the red. That's Kublai Khan on the horse right there with one of his concubines, maybe even his wife. If you go to that's Black Mongolian right there.
Mhm.
Wow.
And these are hand painted on silk. And this is a Black Mongolian with a quandao, which is one of the traditional weapons that was used in China.
Mm.
And those weapons, it took a lot of power to wield those weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to do a lot of internal training to develop the kind of musculature and ligament and tendon solidarity to even lift one of those things, let alone use it proficiently as a weapon. Next slide. Bam. Black Mongolian talking to another Mongolian brother of a different family. This is Kemet. Now we're in Beni Hassan.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the arm strikes
Mm-hmm.
that's been applied. And in the hands, you can actually see the small sticks that are also being used. You can see this is what became sword activity. This is open hand combat.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Now, this piece is really deep because they're striking pressure points. They're
Okay.
hitting pressure points
Mm-hmm.
on the body.
You see by that underarm strike.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's where a lot of the meridians meet
Exactly.
up when you hit that. Ooh, man.
See, one of the things that people don't know that you even have an underarm chakra point that's right there in the pit of the arm, that if you strike it, if you hit it hard enough, it causes total bodily disruption.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hit somebody in the underarms, yeah.
Yeah.
Rich, as much as you can tickle somebody's underarm, that's the healing aspect, but you can do some damaging aspects if you hit them. I mean, I've seen it happen, and it'll actually like stun that whole side of the body until it can stop you right there. So I've seen it happen in the dojo.
Wow.
Exactly. Going into the pressure points.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the next slide. So now I haven't looked at this presentation in a long time. So now we're getting into a whole nother thing. But and I don't know what's coming after this, but this is basically
this is more martial art.
Now we've gone into West Asia, and what you're looking at is the conditioning for iron palm.
Yes. Yes, the forearm hit.
Exactly.
We do that in the dojo. I still trade on trees, so I know exactly what they're doing there.
Yeah.
That's good.
So where we were just then, we were in Akkad, and the Black Akkadians became the inheritors of Kuta. They were the ones that refined the art and took it over into China and established the first dynasty there, the Zhou dynasty. This is a brother by the name of Naram. No, this is Sargon. This was Sargon, and his grandson was Naram Sin. And I know I have a shot of Naram Sin, probably right after this.
Mm.
Okay.
Next slide. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So this is Naram Sin.
Mm.
And all you got to do, they all had the false beards,
Mm-hmm.
but you can look at the features.
Yeah.
They were
Mhm.
brothers.
Yeah, look at that. Look at them nose and lips.
Yeah.
And Naram Sin, man, he was a badass warrior. He was bad.
So what is that? That's a head of a black man. What is that? The body of an animal or something?
Yeah.
It almost looks like the Sphinx.
The Sphinx.
It
Very
almost,
good, Rich.
yeah, it looks like this. It's a representation that follows the same symbology.
Mm.
That's interesting.
Ain't that something? Hey, Brother Wayne, do you know how old it is? Do you
Yeah,
remember?
this.
Mhm.
Well, I can give you traditional dates.
Okay, go ahead.
If we go back and we look at real time, windows, I mean, we're going back probably like about 10,000, years into the past.
Mm.
The traditional date of this is like 2300 BCE.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this piece shows the movement, out of Africa, how they skirted
Mm-hmm.
the coastlines, went up into China, and
Mm-hmm.
another branch went up through Arabia, and then the Kusanas, which went up into the northern regions and landed in Mongolia.
Mm.
This shows where they settled.
Mhm.
So they created the whole concept of Tao.
Mm.
Right.
This brother right here is called Tiaguai.
I've seen this.
Tiaguai was known as the Iron Staff Immortal. This piece is out of China.
Mm-hmm.
Once again,
Wow.
hand painted on silk.
Wow.
Yeah, I've seen this picture a lot.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Look
Well,
like my uncle.
It's in my book, Ancient Future.
Yes, it is. That's right.
Okay, that's probably what
Yep. In the book.
Hey Wayne, the brothers you encounter from Asia, do they admit to the black origins of martial arts, or they act
Some
like
of them do. Some of them do. Some of them do. It's the whole like design and lineage of the art coming out of Africa is something that has been shrouded in mystery, and a lot of that was introduced because I trained for a while with a brother by the name of Kalindi E.
Of course,
And
the late great Kalindi. Baba Kalindi.
yeah.
Oh man.
Kalindi E.
Yes.
He showed us basically, and it exposed us to some of the African systems.
Yes.
There were three in particular. One was called Jakadi,
Mm-hmm.
one was called Girabu,
Mm-hmm.
and one was called Soma. Now, Soma would later become Capoeira. And the way I discovered that was back in the day when I was teaching and training Capoeira. I used to go up to the gym late at night when everybody pretty much had left.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go into the aerobics room and train.
Mm-hmm.
And this one night, this brother came in, African brother, came in and just sat there and watched me for about an hour, just training, doing my own thing. When I left and I got downstairs, the brother was sitting there waiting for me. And he says to me, "What was that you were doing?" And I said, "It's a martial art, called capoeira." And he said, "In my country, we call that soma." He said, "I trained that when I was a young boy, but then my body got too big and they moved me into a different style of martial art. But that's what I trained for the first several years of my introduction into the art." And I said, "Damn, you know,
Baba Wayne. I got to meet Baba Kalindi first at the Wesley Snipes Masters of the Martial Arts.
yes,
I was there with
yes,
Master Duncan and Master Moses and also La Puppet and Cofield. I
yeah,
was sitting right there with them. And remember Kadeen Hardison who played
yeah,
Dwayne
yeah,
Dwayne.
yeah,
You
yeah,
remember he came on the stage and said, "Did you know," in front of all the Asians and everybody, that martial arts originated in Africa?
right.
And no, everybody got silenced because we didn't know what was going to happen after that, because that's when Wesley Snipes was promoting his Blade movie. So
He was promoting Blade,
yes, he was there.
and Wesley did a documentary
Yes,
on the martial arts
yes,
and started with Kalindi and the African origin.
that's right. That's right.
And as a matter of fact, in one of the conferences, because Kalindi used to have a conference every year,
Yes.
and one of the conferences that he had, Wesley actually sent his film crew to film the entire conference.
Wow. Powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Those were the days, bro.
Those were the days, sir. And he did the sword movement. He was showing the sword with the African sword, and he was catching.
Yeah.
Yes. All of them was. It's funny. Abdul Musawir just passed on, and that's another one who was into the arts, and so many people. Master Rico Guy. A lot of these great art. Ron Van Cleef is still there. Master Ron.
Right.
Still doing this thing. So I love that, we could see a lot of these great ones, man. And but one of the questions I like to ask, a lot of them don't, a lot of the Asians may acknowledge, but there's a lot of disdain and a lot of discredit they put on the black martial artists. And that's why Wesley had to do what he did. He had to, because I think he understood that this probably would be the last time you'll ever see this gathering of such a magnitude.
Right.
And with Kalindi and everybody, Baba Kalindi and everybody, even him and Dr. used to train. Dr. Moses used to train.
Yeah.
So they all old friends here. So, and seeing all of this from West Coast, East Coast, all over the place, what do you feel for today's martial artists? Because do you feel that the children and the youth are taking this up now more, or they're kind of disbanding it now?
African man, I feel they're stuck in video games.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's, they've transposed actual 3D and internal energetic styles and methods of self-defense into, video games. And that's where their consciousness and their awareness lies now.
Yeah.
They don't, you've got Brother Michael Jai White.
Yes. Yes, great brother.
He knows the origin.
Yes,
he does know the origin.
Yes, he does.
He came up strong in the Asian arts, but he knows historically the origin.
Yes, he does. Lamar Thornton is a good friend of his, Master Lamar. All of those guys. He studied under Soke Little John back in the day. He's from New York,
Yeah, he's from the city.
Yeah, New York,
Yeah.
So big up to him all the time. And he was the first one that said that there was no such thing as Shaolin Temple.
Yeah.
Yes, he actually came out on there and said that, and that it's just composed of a lot of different martial arts. For 400 prior to when they existed, there was no such thing at one time until they created this mysticism around the Shaolin and all that. So, but respect to the Shaolin Temple because they exist now, and whatever they're doing, enough respect to them. Respect. I would like to go and see them in New York. They have a Shaolin Temple in New York City. A friend of mine is there.
The temple, the temple. There's a brother we used to work with back in the day by the name of Dennis Brown.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Of course.
So Dennis was one of the first who was really invited over to China by the Wushu team.
He's in Washington, D.C. now, right?
Yeah.
Still? Yes. He's
Yes.
Matter of fact, Brother Rich, he trains Soleil, Professor Griff's wife.
Oh, okay.
Dennis Brown, yes. Seafood Dennis Brown, yes. Yes.
So Dennis came back and he showed me some visuals, some shots that came out of the northern temple in China that were impressive because they were showing like whatever the monks were practicing and the internal development that they achieved, their footprints were in solid stone on the floors of these temples where they trained. And that was deep.
Wow.
I was like, these cats have some serious information.
When last you spoke to Seafood Dennis Brown?
Last time I spoke to him was at one of the conferences that we did up in Detroit. And that conference was powerful because Dennis was there. I can't even remember all the brothers that were there, man. There were about, 4 brothers that were of profound notoriety out of New York. Tayari Cassell.
Oh, yes.
There.
Yes, big up to Tayari. Yes.
Mfundishi Masi was
Masi,
there.
the late great.
Mfundishi Tamona was there.
Yes.
It was
wow.
We were doing something, man.
I mean,
that was the coldest one, man. That was just off the chain.
Brother Rich, they got some battle stories, man. They got some stories, bro.
Hey, Wayne, is it true? I see somebody write this in the chat, and I heard this before. I might have heard King Simon talk on this too. They say you can't be a samurai unless you have African blood.
Well, the saying is translated exactly as you cannot be a true samurai unless you have a bit of black blood. And of course, if you're pulling a bit of black blood, where are you pulling that from? So yeah, without a question, I mean, it becomes, somewhat obvious that it's that black blood is African blood.
Here's a good book I just received a couple months ago. This one is called African Samurai, The True Story of Yasuke, a legendary black warrior in feudal Japan. Very interesting book. Very good book.
There were a few. There were a few black samurais. One of the ones that we like to talk about a lot. And all of these pieces here you're looking at, those pieces are out of the Shang Dynasty in China. And if you go back and you look at the faces, you're able to see beyond a shadow of a doubt that these were black people. So you're looking at all the bronze work that they did because they were the first ones who used what's called the lost wax method. And the lost wax method was adopted by NASA in the development and the molding of the fuselage for their aircraft and their space ships.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
Man. Wow, look at that. Okay, that's a stance.
That's his stance.
That's
This
a
is from the
stance.
Shang Dynasty.
Yes, that's a
This
stance.
is a brother, and he's pulling power from his totem, and his totem was the toad. So he was doing toad style.
Now, talk about that, Bob, because a lot of our ancients mimic the animals that they seen.
Exactly.
So speak
Good
about
question.
that.
Good question.
Yes.
Exactly. So they actually integrated not only with the actual movements, like most people are familiar, like with mantis, snake coming out of China, but that's just the external visual obvious form. But the internal development that had to take place, where they actually transferred those frequency energetics into the style and system that was used. And that's what really created a lot of the stories and the mythology, like, for example, the Bachmaid priest.
Yes.
And the battle that took place between him and Hong Shiquan, and then the son, who was actually taught by his mother. So his mother was a crane stylist.
Ooh.
She was a crane stylist, and she dealt with the pressure points.
Yes. Yep.
And that's when he went back and challenged the Bachmaid priest and opened up a can of whoop ass.
Now that you went there, sir, the women in martial arts, because they were the most. I remember watching. I remember one of the movies with what was that? Not The Last Samurai. It was another movie about a man and his son traveling. It's an old movie, and he was a samurai. But the women were very unnoticeable, and they was very good at the fighting, and they had all their knives under their skirts.
No question, man.
They
No
moved.
question.
Talk about the women in martial arts.
The women were formidable.
Yes.
The women were formidable.
Formidable.
I mean, you look at, the nun that created the whole Wing Chun system.
Yes, there it goes.
Wing Chun.
Yep.
Was created by a woman.
A woman. That's right.
I never knew that. Wow.
For close counters, because most time you attack women, it's close. You're always up close.
Right.
So they have to deal with you right then and there, right?
That's
up
right.
Close. So,
that's right.
Yeah, for close. Yeah. Good. Yeah. I always tell women they should learn that. All of our women should learn close count, because most men attack you close up.
That's
not
right.
from afar.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's on point.
Let's
So we're done. We're done with because all of this now moves into a whole nother dynamic of the presentation.
Man.
So wait,
so you gotta press explode on that presentation until it dissolves,
So Wayne, what's the connection? With Asia, we get the word nigga. People use the word nigga today, and they say it comes from the word nega. And over in Asia, you got the serpents. They big on serpents, and you got Nagasaki and all of that. So, what's the connection between the nega and Asia?
I mean, if you look, the etymology can transfer. The negas. So there can be connection there. There can be connection to Niger. In Africa. There can be connection to that. I think that where they took that term and corrupted it to make it a a negative.
Why y'all think the kung fu flicks in the 70s was so interwoven with the black exploitation movies that was out at that time? Yeah,
I was watching it every Saturday. I
yeah,
was
for
in
real.
there. Go ahead, Brother Wade.
Yeah, man. What's your name? Joe Nuff.
Bruce Leroy.
Bruce Leroy. Yeah, man. Now, when I say, who's the master? You say, show enough.
So enough. Yo, big up to Barry Gordy. That was his first film, Last Dragon. Big up to Barry.
Yeah.
No, but remember a lot of the martial arts, a lot of those people in black exploitation movies were into martial arts. The Fred the Hammer, of course, Williams, Jim Kelly, even Jim Brown, and of course Cleopatra Jones and Pam Grier and all those great, beautiful women that was able to kick some police officers' backside.
No question.
I used to love it. And it was right there, man. But they, Bruce Lee, I have to admit, watching Five Fingers of Death and all those things, it really encouraged us to look for ourselves in martial arts. So when Bruce Lee put Jim Kelly in, and then when Ron Van Cleef was showing up as the Black Dragon, and all these other greats, even you remember seeing you remember that movie that Dr. Moses Powell was in. What was the name of that movie, man? It's an old movie, but he was in that movie. But obviously, he didn't do anything. But watching a lot of the black exploitation films, and alongside that with the karate flicks, I felt that was something that belonged to us from even the 52 blocks back in the day. Big up to Master Mo and all the 52 blocks. All of that stuff we was doing what we had to do. We was learning that on the streets of Brooklyn back in the day.
Exactly.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, man. 52 blocks.
Yes, sir. Open. All of that. We have a good time.
Shackled hands. Boom, boom.
Strike it.
No question, man.
No question, baby.
Yeah.
That's a black man's martial arts. Don't let nobody twist it. Big up to Master Mo and Light Burley, man. Big up to those people that's keeping it alive right now.
Yeah.
You're right, man.
Right.
But where we are right now, I'd love to see more sisters now. Yeah. Just really getting into the art, because we're getting ready to move into some really deep times. And I feel that they're going to need that era of self-protection, because it's getting ready to get deep out here, real deep. And I'd love to see more sisters involve themselves. That was one of the things, like the Kalindi's, wife that he, met, not Mama Ayana, but his first wife. She was cold-blooded. She was cold.
Yes.
And she was a deep representation, for women in the art. And I would love to see just more sisters, man, making that move.
Right. Let's get to a couple of questions from the people before we get out of here. Family, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Hit that like button.
Rich, can I show a book real quick?
Yeah, definitely.
This book here is called Fighting for Honor, the history of African martial arts tradition in the Atlantic world. Very good book to have in your arsenal. TJ Desh-Obi. So it's called Fighting for Honor, the history of African martial arts tradition in the Atlantic world. So
Awesome.
yeah, man. I got a lot of books, but I don't have them out here right now. So
Indeed, indeed.
But,
Any somebody said any Kali instructors y'all can recommend?
woo! Sword. I got my sword right here, son. Stop playing. It actually
Yeah, I've got my sticks in the other room.
yeah, I got my sticks too.
Yeah,
Any Cali instructor, Cali is out of the Philippines.
right,
Arnis, stick fighting and all that. I took that
right.
in Canada back in the day. But Cali, you got to Google up and then study their find out if they have any reputable teachers out wherever you are. I know Cali's instructors in New York, and I know one out here in Sijo Mutaka Bears out here in Georgia now. So I know he's out here. He's training that, him and his wife, Dr. Odette. So yeah, they definitely deal with the weapons and all that, Cali, everything. So you got to find it in your neighborhood. I don't know where you are, my space. I don't know where you are, so they should be around.
Yeah, Kali is tight, man.
Yeah, but
I
Dr.
mean,
Wayne, tell them about the internal arts that go along with this stuff, because that's what you master.
Yeah, and that's the deep thing, because a lot of these arts, have deep internal systems that really make the art proficient. And when you look at Kali, just the history, because a lot of the movements, the hand movements, as well as the stick striking movements, come from techniques and basket weaving developed by the women in the system.
Wow. Here's a good book. Somebody just asked about the Dahomey tribe.
This is a book. Dahomey Amazons.
That's right. This book was written by Sheikh Anta Diop, and he speaks about how some of them had, when they wanted to do a bow and arrow, some of them had to cut off their breasts to be able to do that. Women, our women had to cut their breasts off to be proficient in bow and arrow.
Right.
This book speak about it. This book is called The Cultural Unity of Black Africa by Sheikh Anta Diop. The great scholar. Oh yeah.
Hey, somebody wants to know, is the glow from the last dragon real? Is it achievable? A lot of people wonder that.
Everything is real, bro. If you do the training and you get, the right information. You get good information, you're already glowing. When you do internal work and you develop your chi body, your chi body is what creates the external shield that envelops your form. And that shield has frequency, solidarity, and color.
I remember before we did the workshop, you was telling me how a fighter, their power, that's chi, that's projected chi right there.
Yeah,
right.
That's not just muscle, that's chi right there.
Right.
That's right.
I mean, I was down in North Carolina at the time, and this brother was just passing through, and he said, "Man, did you hear about Kalindi?" And I said, "No, man. What are you talking about?" And he said, "Yeah, man. He got in a serious tussle with 8 police." And I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, eight police," and he took them all out.
Yeah.
I said, "What?"
Oh, Kalindi.
And so when I called Kenny, who was Kalindi's top student. And I said, "Kenny, what happened, man? What I'm hearing all of this." And Kenny said, "Man," he said, "this is the thing." He said, when he went to get Kalindi, out of jail.
Yep.
He said that he taught to the one woman. There was only one woman police officer.
Yeah.
And she told him the whole story of what transpired. And she said she had drawn her gun because she was going to shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
But he stayed in the mix so that if she would have fired, it would have been, the possibility of
One of
her
them
actually shooting one of her own officers. Because he stayed in the middle of all of them. And she told Kenny, she watched all of what was transpiring, and she saw all these policemen hitting the ground.
Yeah.
She said the only reason that she didn't fire was because she never saw Kalindi throw a punch.
That's how you get off. Too. That it's powerful, Rich. I remember hearing that story.
Yeah.
Because Master Wayne, you know why? So that's interesting because, and I know that's so true.
No.
When my mother had gotten touched by a police officer, I touched them in a hospital back in the 90s, and Dr. Powell and Soki Littlejohn, all of them told me to always back up against the wall and move them. And so I was just able to move them and not even strike them.
Yeah.
But and then when I heard my mother scream, I just submitted. And then when the officer came to court, she said he didn't even touch us. He moved us out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't know what was in me at that time, but I know I was heavily training under Anthony Muhammad, GM Anthony, and Soki Littlejohn back in those days, and I just moved them. It was 7 officers. You just go into a zone, but they said back up against the wall. They shouldn't let them touch you back your back up against the wall and just deal with them. So I just was moving them and kept on moving. I didn't even hit. I didn't go like this. I just moved.
Yeah.
And that was how I got away from that full attack in the hospital. So
shifting their energy.
Shifting their energy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It worked. Wow. It works. I know, and I heard Baba Kalindi's story too. I heard it from somebody else. So I know. And Dr. Powell did the same thing when the mosque got attacked in 72. He told everybody, he said, turn off the light. And he fought all them police officers down the stage. So he said, turn off the light. We love to fight in the dark.
Yeah.
Dog fighting is a beautiful thing.
Let me get to this next question. They said, how do you feel about MMA and the many videos that try to claim it is superior to traditional martial arts?
Go ahead, brother. I want to hear you tackle that one.
How do you feel about UFC
what I've heard and all of that?
Yeah, what I've heard from the elders of this, because I never got into that too much of that. But what I've heard from the elders, it's become too much of a sporty thing right now because everybody's making money. In the arts, the traditional arts was definitely to either condition yourself and work with the internal and the external arts. It wasn't about all of this. Everything is turned into money now. Even belts. Right. Some of us wasn't even into belt systems. I was never into the belts. And I love Soki Littlejohn. He was also saying he was never into the belts. It was really about you trying to get home, protect yourself, and protect your family. But now it's a gladiator sport. We could only respect it for what it is. It's a gladiator sport. And I respect them out there because some of them are real known martial artists in jiu-jitsu and capoeira and all of that stuff. So you got to give them respect for entering it, because even Ron Van Cleef went in there while he was at a certain age to fight, before it went wherever it went. So enough respect to what they're doing. But traditional martial arts, we know what it is. We're trying to keep the integrity. Integrity, that's what they're missing. Integrity, because you got some of those brothers I've heard and sisters and white, I'm talking about especially the white ones, they could be very arrogant outside of the ring. The ring. Yeah. And that's not how you're taught in the martial arts to be arrogant and disrespectful.
That's right.
No.
That's right. So I mean, those brothers, man, that are so bad who can flick a finger and take you out.
You wouldn't know.
They had a certain type of demeanor.
Yes.
I mean, it was unbelievable, because they were centered. Exactly. They did not move on the principle of dysfunction.
Yes.
They were centered. They didn't have to prove what they could do. They knew what they could do.
That's right. That's right. Big up to Sijo Steve Muhammad. Somebody just bigged up Sijo Steve Muhammad. Yes. One of the founders of the Black Federation magazine. Big up to him. Black Karate Federation. Yes. I know Baba Siju. He's out here in Georgia. His son just called my son the other day. Khalid, big up to Khalid, his son. Enough respect to him out here in Georgia also, training.
Somebody says, is 40 plus too old to begin training?
No.
It's never too old.
No.
It's
I'm
never
50.
too old.
I'm 55. Whatever.
I ain't even gonna tell you how old I am.
No, but I've been training since I was young, so I understand what he's. But no, man. At least Baba, tell him he could get into Tai Chi, combative Tai Chi, and all of that.
No question.
He can get into all of that.
That would be the hook. Really,
Yes.
is to get into the combative aspect of the internal arts.
Yes.
Because then you get the internal training, the development of your chi, and how to use that, how to weaponize that. And that, once you do that, man, that's transdimensional,
Right.
once you step into that area. So, yeah, that would be our recommendation for you, would be to get into the internal arts.
What's the name? Sinbad started around that age too. Sinbad, the comedian. He started with Billy Blanks at that age, around that 39, 40 age. And got his black belt. Went for his black belt under Billy Blanks, a karate.
Okay.
So big up to Sinbad, the comedian.
Yeah.
Somebody saying, how effective is Tai Chi?
In the martial expression of it, it's very effective. But you got to take it into the martial design and formula. I mean, a lot of what most people study with respect to Tai Chi, it's more of an exercise, and a lot of what really makes Tai Chi as an exercise isn't really taught properly, because what makes Tai Chi practical is the tongue connection. Because it's the tongue connection that allows the internal energy to flow properly through the channels. And most practitioners don't know tongue connection. I had one student, and she was studying Tai Chi. I had taught her tongue connection. And when she went into class one day, the woman she was, training under was a white woman, European woman, and she had studied directly from a Asian Chinese master. And so my student asked her, "Why don't you teach tongue connection?" And the woman looked at her and was shocked that she even knew
it
about tongue connection. But she said, "I can't speak on it right now, but let's talk after class." After class, she told my student that when she studied with her teacher, this Chinese master, one of the things that she was told never to teach, she said, "I know tongue connection, and I do it whenever I do my Tai Chi form. But I was told by my teacher, never teach my students tongue connection."
Why would they do that? Why would they do that, Baba? Tell them, why would they even not be willing to teach all of the from the purest form?
Because they want to make sure that there's a level of consistent vulnerability that the practitioner has, that whoever the teacher, instructors will always be able to outperform and outdo. So they never give all of the information.
That's interesting. Because I know a lot of teachers will tell you to, I know under Sanukas, they want to teach it from the purest form that Doc offered from through him and Professor V and all these greats, and Doc always told, as I've heard from some of the elders, Doc always told his professors and his black belts, if you're going to teach this, teach it to the babies from its purest form.
No
Do
question.
not dilute it and mess it up and do all that kind of stuff. Dr. Moses Powell said that to his black belts back in the day.
Right.
So that's what I heard.
Because, one of the things, old school masters coming out of our community, see that the deep thing is that they always wanted their students to be better than they were.
That's right.
And that's really profound,
That's right.
They always wanted their students, so they gave everything.
Yes. That's right.
A brother wants to know, what's a good martial art for those in wheelchairs?
Wow. Larry Holmes. Hey, Larry, how you been? The boxer. His name Larry Holmes.
I don't know if he's trolling or
no. He's good to ask that, because Master Duncan and Dr. Powell used to teach paraplegics, but mostly Dr. Master Duncan used to teach paraplegics, and right to this day, Grandmaster McEady, one of Dr. Duncan, Master Duncan's students, still teaches paraplegic. Master Duncan had a blind student win knife throwing contests.
Yeah.
That's how, what's his name? Master Mark, Sensei Mark, used to win knife throwing contests. Blind.
Yeah.
The guy would stand at the target and yell, and he would throw that knife right there. Whoop. Yes, you can learn in the wheelchair, because sometimes you just need to do hand movement.
That's all it is.
That's it.
You want to get into your hand systems. You want to get into your hand systems.
That's right. Use those arms. After you use those arms, roll over them with the chair. Keep it rolling. Keep it moving.
Yeah. Let's let's get to about two more questions before we get out of here. I don't know if you touched on this before, but they saying the best martial arts for beginners.
Go ahead, Doc.
Man, first of all, I would want to know, when you say beginner, how old are you exactly?
Exactly.
Because that has some bearing in terms of exactly where you should go with your training initially.
Yeah. You know what? Biting and kicking is a martial arts, So if you know how to bite somebody and gouge out their eyes, boxing is a martial art. So it's all anything that works for you. That's really what you should, what you resonate with, I would say what you resonate and connect with, So
yeah, what when you look at your body, what areas of your body do you feel more adept at using? So if you feel that you have more skills in the upper body dealing with the hands, be drawn to styles that use a lot of hands.
Exactly.
If you feel that you've been engaged in certain manners, means, modes of operation that deal with leg strength, leg dexterity, then look at systems and styles that focus on kicking.
Exactly.
And develop a really, and don't stay with just one. Like, a lot of people may go into Taekwondo because Taekwondo, is reportedly anyway, like one of the better kicking systems. But when you go into systems like capoeira, you've got 77 kicks. In capoeira. That come from up and come from down. So if you want to really deal with some serious kicking,
And you know, so funny. They did a competition online one time, not online, in a television show, and capoeira had the strongest kick.
Right. I
The most,
saw that.
you see,
Yeah.
the most powerful kick came.
Yeah, because we throw our whole body
into it.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen back in my day a Caribbean guy from out of Guyana beat 5 guys just by headbutting them.
Wow.
Right.
He headbutt everybody, and all of them was knocked out.
Yeah.
Remember, you got 9 basic parts. You got your head, you got your 2 fists, your 2 arms, your 2 knees, your 2 feet. Right. 9 basics.
Yeah.
You know, learn how to use them.
That's it.
He headbutt 5 guys and knocked them all out right there in Atlantic Terminal in Clinton Hills back in 1979. I was right there.
Wow.
I ran into Colin. His name is Colin. Yes, his name Colin. And I ran into Colin. I said, yo, I still remember you knocking out those 5 guys when I was young. Because he's an older guy now. I remember you knocking out 5 guys, headbutting all of them. And he was good at soccer.
Chambers of Shaolin.
Let's we're gonna get to one more question. This is a good one. Which areas of the body require the lightest touch to subdue?
That's a good question.
That is a
good
question.
Real good question.
I mean, a blind man is a dead man. Focus on that eyes. Personally, I'm gonna blind you out and keep it moving. I got things to do.
I mean, you've got the eyes.
Yes.
You've got the throat.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the solar plexus. And one abdominal strike into the solar plexus is going to create systemic dysfunction everywhere in the body. Because you've got a center there, which is the solar plexus chakra, that a lot of people don't even identify with. Once you apply a certain degree of pressure, it doesn't even have to be a hard strike. Just like a strike to the eyes, a strike to this part of the throat. You don't have to apply a lot of force. All of those are points where the body just responds because there are energy centers in those areas of the body that you're making contact with. And that's what creates the level of discombobulation, dysfunction.
I remember Master David James said something from under Professor V. He said, blind, breath, balance. BBB.
Yeah.
Take care of all of those real quick. Blind, breath, balance. Knock them off balance at the end. Keep it moving.
Yeah. I mean, but other systems, like you have systems like China, you know. I mean, you can grab somebody and go to work on their hands. You can make them dance.
Yep. These.
You can hold them while you're doing your thing over here, writing the email, and they can be dancing over there while you're making all the necessary adjustments.
Professor V used to be good at that.
Yeah.
Grab you, and even big Dr. Moses Powell was like 250 pounds. Professor V was probably 5'5" and like 100 and something pounds. Grab Dr. Powell and just throw him.
Have him dancing.
Dancing on his finger.
Moving. Yeah.
Wow, man. Hey, this was a good show, man. This was a interesting show, man. Y'all gonna have me watch The Last Dragon after this show.
Matter of fact, since you out here in Georgia, man, you should take your son to Siju when he's old enough. Siju Mutaka Bear. He gives you a good flow of Tai Chi, Qigong, and all that the martial arts from Sanukas, Jiu-Jitsu, everything. He goes into weapons. You know, for children, you know, he stopped training children, but his wife does it, but his wife is good at what she does. Yeah. Big up to them. You know, Dr. Odette, you know, big up to them.
Indeed. Hey, Wayne, I want you to leave us your contact info as well as King Simon. Let the people know how they can reach y'all. If your brothers got anything coming up, let the people know about it.
You want me to go first or you, Brother Wayne?
Go ahead, bro.
Thank you. And Wayne, I gotta get you on my show too, man. We need to chop it up. Me, you, and Lloyd Strayhorn need to have some laughter. Of course, y'all want to do a session with me. I do have a waiting list, but my waiting list is into September 347-496-1022. I advertise on Brother Rich all the time because I love my brother, and me and him came from the cold streets of New York. That's why I continue to work with my brother. And I got events coming up. Those that are going to be in Brooklyn or the tri-state area, I'll be with Lloyd Strayhorn, Ellison Nedra, of course, Sister Cafunia, and the one, the only Etoy will be at Nicholas, Brooklyn, doing a whole workshop in Nicholas, Brooklyn. So you text me if you want the link to that for 6 to 10 p.m. We're going to be doing that workshop on Saturday, August 27th. And then on September, I'll be speaking at Tassili Raw Natural Mystic Fair, September 9th, 10th, and 11th in Tassili Raw in Atlanta. And then, of course, in October, we got the one, the only Ashra Kwesi. And opening up for that is Brother Red Pill at the Stone Mountain Village place where Brother Panic just did his event at 5380. And then in December, I'm celebrating 27 years in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 27 years in promotion and production at the beach of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and a venue with Billy Carson, Joshua Sarah, Dina Devine, and the one, the only Ellison Nedra. We'll be doing the Cosmic Alignment Enhancement Workshop. He's going to be doing remote viewing and all of that. So big up to Billy, who's going to be a part of that. And Rich, you got to go and visit his new house. You playing games. You need to go visit Billy, man. Yo, he got an elevator. Big up to Billy.
You know, Billy said it's like 9,000 square feet, man.
10,000 square feet, sir.
I'm like,
yo, I was in there, and he has a lake behind there. All he has to do is put an obelisk. It'll look like Washington, D.C. It'll look just like Washington, D.C.
Wow.
Oh, man, doing it. Love him. Love Billy. Big up to Billy.
Shout out Billy Carson.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry, Bubba.
No, man, that was incredible, man. You are so busy. Most of my stuff is out of the country. I'm in the Netherlands in September. I'm in the UK in October, and I'm also in Atlanta in October doing a workshop.
Oh yeah.
And then at the very end of October, I'm doing another retreat with the internal practices, Qigong, doing a retreat in Qigong that will be in South Carolina, and another one in Mexico before the end of the year. Now, what you'll have to do, you can hit me up for more details of all of those events on Wayne B, as in Bravo, Chandler .com. That's my website, WayneBChandler.com. And you'll be able to get the location, the times of all of those projects. And you can also hit me up on Facebook and, just punch in my name and I'll come up on Facebook.
Hey, Wayne, I know you into the Qigong. Do you look like you never ever get angry? Do you ever get angry? You ever just be like, oh fuck? You ever get mad? You look like the calmest dude, the coolest, calmest dude in the world, man. You ever get angry, brother?
I try to really move with emotional balance, man, all the time.
Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the first things you learn in Qigong is how to balance the emotions. Because the emotional fields can either take you into transdimensional places that allow you to gain mastery over your environment, or they can take you into a downward spiral, which takes you into the quagmire of just cultural dysfunction and allows your environment to have dominance over you.
Indeed.
And that's what you don't want, ever.
Indeed. Excellent. All right, family. So this Brother Rich, King Simon, Wayne Chandler, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Such a wonderful broadcast. I know we all
And
learned.
I have enjoyed this with my
Thank you.
brothers.
Us.
My brothers.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, why do you keep saying Hus? I'm sure the people. Why do you keep saying Hus? What is that?
That's a form of respect to one of the masters like that. You're giving them a sign of respect, and you bowing. You're bowing to the God within him because you're respecting the God within you and him at the same time.
And where does that come from? The Hus.
That's more Japanese. That's more of Japanese style, you know. But we say it in the martial arts. And when we enter the dojo and when we see our grandmasters or any sensei, we bow them and show them respect, saying us, and we you know. But that's more, you know. So
Indeed. Hey, we learning. I'm learning. We doing a lot of learning in here tonight. We're doing a lot of learning, man.
Yeah.
Respect.
Indeed.
Yes.
Respect.
Hey, Wayne, I got to get you on here again soon in a couple of weeks, brother. So you'll hear from me soon. King
Okay,
Scott,
bro.
you hear from me soon, family. This is Brother Rich. Thank you once again, family. Peace.
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 Yes.